Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode of I Survived. I am proud to welcome a guest who survived the tsunami of 2006 in Thailand. Without further ado, I am proud to present Sam. Sam, tell me about who you were traveling with.
Well, most of the time when I go to Thailand, I would travel with my sister, mother, and father. It had been a family tradition of ours for as long as I can remember. Unfortunately, this year, my sister couldn't make it with us because she had a swim meet with our school.
Excellent. How are you coping with everything?
Well, unfortunately, during the tsunami, I lost both of my parents. That itself was very hard on me and my sister, but thankfully, our aunt and uncle let us stay with them and to cope with everything.
I'm sorry for your loss. What did you do during the actual tsunami?
Well, the first thing I did, what me and my father did, was try to get my mother to safety in a building because she has MS and would not be strong enough to withstand any power or any impact from the tsunami itself. After getting her to safety, I looked back out and saw my father helping a bunch of other people get to safety inside of this building. So I went out and helped him, guided all the people in. Then we looked over and saw this lady that was attached to a tree and was too scared to let go. So I grabbed the hose and wrapped it around her to help her guide her way back into the building. When I looked back after getting her to safety, which would have been 30 seconds later at most, I saw the tree was no longer there. If I would have waited any longer, the tree would have gone with her and maybe she wouldn't have even survived. Afterwards, the water went back down and me and my father went back to our cabana to see if any of our belongings had survived because our cabana was right on the ocean. So when we got there, we went inside and saw everything was gone, everything was torn apart, and none of our belongings had survived. So we decided to walk back up towards my mother, but then heard a loud noise and looked behind and saw a second tsunami was coming back twice as high as before. I ran and tried to get to safety but couldn't make it, and that's when I went unconscious.
Wow, how terrifying. What went through your head before you lost consciousness?
The main thing going through my head was trying to stay alive and keep my family safe and together.
And what was the most traumatic thing you saw?
Definitely the most traumatic thing I saw would have been seeing people go underwater and not seeing them resurface. I do not know what happened to those people. I never saw them again. I have no idea if they are alive or dead.
That's very sad. And you mentioned Beth stayed back in New York. When did you reconnect with Beth?
I reconnected with Beth when I woke up in a temporary hospital that had been built just outside of where we were staying. And when I woke up, I walked around and saw a bunch of people being reunited in this main area, and I saw my sister who somehow had gone there helping other people reunite. So I walked up to her, saw and got to see her, and she was so happy to see me. And then she unfortunately told me that both my parents had not survived.
I'm very sorry for your loss. Do you have any advice for anyone who's faced with a tsunami?
The first thing I could say is that if ever you do see the water receding into the ocean, do not go onto this empty ocean floor because the water will come back. Even though it is very cool to see all these sea creatures that are there, the water will come back and it will come back way too fast for you to outrun it. So please, if ever you see that, don't go down to the water, but instead go up to a building and try to get as high as you can off the floor itself.
That's some good advice. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back to Thailand?
I don't know if I'll be able to go back to Thailand for a very long time, but maybe in the future I'll be able to go to Thailand with my family because I have so many great memories there, even though there was one terrible memory.
Well, I'm glad you survived, Sam. Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you.